You're not a voice, you're just ringing in my ear. If I heard you, which I don't, I'm spoken for, I fear. Everyone I've ever loved is here within these walls. I'm sorry, secret siren, but I'm blocking out your calls. I've had my adventure, I told you something new. I'm afraid of what I'm risking, yeah. I'm following you. I'm gonna love me again. The bitches didn't play. I'm gonna love me again. Yeah, that goes to show that Into the Unknown should have won Best Original Song over I'm Gonna Love Me Again. Yeah, take notes, Oscars. Yeah, even though I did sing a little auto tune Into the Unknown, I was aware of that. At least I remember the lyrics, unlike I'm Gonna Love Me Again. So yeah, there's that. Hey guys, this is Fossil Things Stews here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I am going to be doing a review on Rocketman. 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 So, Rocketman is a music biopic following the footsteps of Bohemian Rhapsody. It came out in the year 2019, the best year ever. And is directed by Dexter Fletcher, the same director as Eddie the Eagle, which is a great film. He directed episodes of The Offer, which is a show about the making of The Godfather. Very underrated show, by the way. And also the harmless, fun, guilty pleasure movie that is Ghosted, which is probably my guilty pleasure of 2022. And it stars Taron Egerton, Jamie Bell, Richard Madden, Bryce Dallas Howard, Gemma Jones, Kit Connor, Charlie Rowe, etc. And so the film tells the story of pretty much the life of Elton John, a singer. He was a part of the Royal Academy of Music through his thanks to his talents, his music talents. But then his family apparently hates him, especially his dad, who abandoned the family because of how much he hates Elton. At first, that he was actually named Reginald Dwight back in his childhood, but then he changed his name to Elton John at the later year. Elton John was his stage name when he became a singer, and he basically has a gay relationship with Bernie while he's under the managerial influence of John Reed, who is apparently also in a relationship with who apparently Elton also has a relationship with, but apparently John Reed is a dick. So yeah, and so Elton John also goes through shit in his life, like he takes drugs, he tried to commit suicide, and yeah, that's the plot for it. So yeah, guys, I gotta say, happy 5th anniversary to Rocketman. Rocketman. Now, I am actually a fan of music biopics. Biopics is one of my absolute favorite genres, and not just music biopics, but there are other great biopics too, like Oppenheimer being my favorite music biopic, and also Blonde as well, which, by the way, I still defend Blonde. I think it's one of the absolute best Netflix movies. So sorry about that. So yeah, I love biopics, but what really influenced my love for biopics is actually music biopic. I remember watching Walk the Line in the plane out of nowhere, just looking at the photo of it, like on the menu of the screen. I was like, oh, this looks interesting, and not knowing anything about it besides the fact that it's about Johnny Cash, and I loved it. But it was actually Bohemian Rhapsody that influenced my love for music biopics. I was like, oh my god, this is so good. I want to watch more of these singer biopics. And then came Rocketman, a movie where that was hype for. Not sure if I consider it one of my most this was one of my most anticipated movies of 2019, and so I was so hooked by it that I got to see it in theaters. I always love this film to begin with. Now, as for my thoughts on music biopics in general nowadays, I still like them, but I am starting to see their flaws, specifically with Bob Marley and Black Black. while they're not bad films, they are bringing the genre down because of just how flawed they are, and how formulaic they are. And same goes for Whitney Houston, which I think is one of the most disappointing movies that's going through. It's passable, it's a serviceable film, but as a music biopic, I expected so much more from it. I mean, it's freaking Whitney Houston, one of the most famous singers in the world. I mean, I don't know. I never knew much about Bob Marley or Amy Winehouse, so that's fine. But Whitney Houston, there was no excuse to make it like not great, to make it as average as possible. It was okay, but it needs to be very okay. Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm not sure if I would consider it a masterpiece or not. My thoughts always flip between a near perfect rating and a perfect rating, but either way, I still love Bohemian Rhapsody, and I think they made the right choice for that film to get nominated for Best Picture. I think 2018 is one of the more overhated years for movies. Yeah, a lot of people a lot of the Best Picture nominees in that same year have people just whining and complaining about like, oh, this movie sucks, it's just Oscar bait, why are you nominated for Best Picture? So, Bo Rap is not alone. So, with Bo Rap getting critical, with Bohemian Rhapsody getting mid reviews, like, getting very mixed reviews, I honestly kind of was worried about what the reviews in Rocketman looked like. I thought Rocketman was going to be another Bohemian Rhapsody where like it's going to get a rotten score and that people were going to hate it. We're not going to like it, but I was always hyped for it considering I love Bohemian Rhapsody. I was hyped for Rocketman, but but to my surprise, it actually got a rave reviews, and wow, I am so happy. Heck, it even won an Oscar, but to be fair, Bohemian Rhapsody won bigger, and also that one Oscar that Rocketman won was not well deserved, in my opinion. I will get to that later, but yeah. But yeah, I absolutely love Rocketman. In fact, for a long time, this was my favorite music biopic. Like, ever since I saw the theaters, I instantly fell in love with it. And this was the best. This is by far the best movie of June 2019. And keep in mind, this is a May movie, and I saw it in June. So if I call this the best June movie, despite it initially releasing in May, then that goes to show how weak of a month June 2019 was. I mean, what else do you think in June 2019? Dark Phoenix? Y'all know how I hate about it. Y'all know I hate it. Man Black International? Blech, ew. Toy Story 4 gets worse the more I think about it. Yesterday's underrated, but it's not enough for me to call it like the best. It's not enough. The best of its respective month. It's not enough. So yeah, Rocketman is the clear winner here. And I rewatched it like twice throughout the pandemic. Like I rewatched it 3 times at home. And so this is technically like my 5th time, I guess. Yeah. And guess what, guys? This movie's on Netflix in my area. I don't know if Rocketman is on US Netflix, but Philippine Netflix, it is. It sure is. And after seeing Rocketman for another time, what do I think of Rocketman? Yeah, this movie still is a masterpiece. I absolutely love Rocketman. And like what I said, happy 5th anniversary to this film. It certainly deserved a great 5th anniversary celebration here. And yeah, this is probably my favorite music biopic. Yeah, I mean, as much as I like as awesome as Bohemian Rhapsody is, and as much as I love Elvis, I think Elvis is a masterpiece. Sucks that I didn't give it a perfect rating in the perfect rating that it deserves in my initial review of it. But I remember calling Elvis the best music biopic until revisiting Rocketman and thinking about Walk the Line. Now I'd say both Rocketman and Bohemian Rhapsody are tied as my favorite music biopic of all time. It is that good. And it is certainly in my top 10 favorite movies of 2019 list. Is it in my top 5 favorite movies of 2019? Not quite, actually. I do think 5 other films edge it out, but it certainly is right up there. And I actually put it above some of the more Oscar-winning films like 1917, Parasite, Ford vs. Ferrari. Yeah, I put it over those. But like, the only Oscar movie I put above this is Joker. But like, then I have films like Frozen 2, Endgame, Knives Out, Far From Home over this one. So that's kind of how my 2019 films will look like. This would look like. Damn, I should probably make a top 10 best movies 2019 list. I definitely should do that at some point. We'll see. And yeah, now let's get to like what exactly I love about this film. I'll save the Oscar talk for last because I need to do the Oscars deserve a talk about this. First of all, even if this movie won an Oscar, like what I said, it deserved it's it has only one Oscar win. It's undeserved. That's the win. Oscar win. I'll talk about later towards the end of the review, but there's a lot of awards that this movie should have gotten nominated for, but because of the fact that this movie came out like in the summer in like May, yeah, this movie was brutally snubbed at the Oscars. A lot of awards that this should have won, that this should have gotten nominated for, like they were snubbed. It was just like that one Oscar which I was not happy about. Oh boy. Yeah, first of all, why didn't Taron Egerton get nominated for Elton John? I mean, if Rami Malek can win the Oscars, then so can him. Also, I would say my favorite lead actor performance of 2019 would be a tie between Joaquin Phoenix as Joker and Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. But I still think Taron Egerton gave out one of the absolute best performances of 2019. Thanks to the fact that Taron Egerton has constantly been associated with Elton John. You can clearly tell in Sing when he sang I'm Still Standing, and even though I still hate Sing, I don't like Johnny. And Kingsman and Secret Service were like, it's pretty obvious that Elton John being in that film had something to do with Taron Egerton. It's clear that Taron Egerton was born to play Elton John, and if Rami Malek as Freddie Mercury and Austin Butler as Elvis Presley wasn't good enough for you, Taron Egerton is Elton John, and I absolutely love everything about him. He perfectly embodies Elton John, not just physically but also emotionally and mentally as well. And he actually has an amazing singing voice, and by golly gee, the soundtrack in this movie is absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love the soundtrack, and I love how I will say though, one of my, even as much as I love the music in other music biopics, one thing that makes Rocketman stand out from the rest is that Rocketman's song numbers actually felt like actual musical numbers. So most of the other biopics would just constantly be the main character singing on the stage, performing on the stage live. But Rocketman, it felt like an actual musical. Like, it felt so different and unique from other music biopics. And I completely understand why people just tend to hate on music biopics nowadays because of how they're just so similar to each other. Like, it was so obvious from the get-go that I Want to Dance with Somebody is similar to Bohemian Rhapsody. I could clearly tell, even though I didn't mind that. Like, Rocketman is so different. It's so different, and I like it. And it's, yeah, there were like so many song numbers where it had an actual musical like choreography with songs like Saturday Night's Alright, like Saturday. Yeah, when there was when Elton doesn't just sing on the piano, but then he actually roams around the carnival like singing, and we see like background characters dancing. It felt like a real musical, and also yes, obviously, since this is a film about a singer's fame, there are definitely some songs that were performed on stage, but they actually had style to them. Other music biopics had songs that didn't have style to it, but this one did. One perfect example is my favorite Elton song in the film, and my favorite Elton John song in general. I'm a rugged man. Yeah, amazing song, amazing sequence. Starts off with Elton John trying to kill himself, and then he sees like this his inner child self singing starting off with like is really adorable voice, and then Elton John just gets into an ambulance while singing it, and then they actually carry him into the stage and he sings there. That is so creative, and that's what I love about Rocketman. It's very creative and very imaginative. It's like there you can tell that there is actually a visual style to it. It's not just a standard textbook biopic. It is a biopic with a director's flair and director's style to it, which is what felt lacking in film with the last three music biopic films, is that they were lacking in style. It was more so just focused on the substance to a fault. I mean, the substance was there, but to a fault, because I mean, it just felt like a Wikipedia textbook page, just following the same formula. While Rocketman, Rocketman isn't that, and oh yeah, also I should add as well the opening song with the I want love, like it gives you vibe of an actual musical. Like you're like asking yourself, wait, Elton John sang this one? Wait, this was actually sung in real life? This felt like a music. Like you'd actually think that a musical stuff would appear here. I mean, you'd think that Elton John would actually try to pull off that choreography in his real life. I don't think so. And that was a beautiful song, by the way. And there were like there were so many songs I personally my favorite. Like there were so many memorable songs here. Something that Bob Marley lacked. It lacked a memorable soundtrack. I only remembered like the song from the trailer, and that's something. And yeah, there were like great songs. Yeah, I already mentioned that Rocketman is my favorite Elton John song, and I also do love Yo Tiny Dancer. Yeah, which is another one that was not sung on stage, but sung like a musical, and it was a sequence where Elton John was just standing in the backyard of a house and singing while walking around, and there's a bit of visual flair to it, and that song is just so beautiful and so heartwarming. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Yeah, it was just beautiful. Saturday Night's all right for fighting. Like such an energetic, awesome song and it just gets stuck in my head. Of course, I'm still standing. Yeah, 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 yeah. And of course, Yellow Brick Road. But although I will admit, Yellow Brick Road wasn't really one of my favorite Elton John songs until I saw the TC trailer for Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. That was when I started loving that song. And also, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Crocodile Rock. I already mentioned I Want Love. I love that. Take Me to the Pilot. Yeah, so many great songs in there. And I'll talk about the weakest song later on because I have something to say about that. What's next? Oh yeah, and the way this movie ended with I'm still standing. Yeah, I love the way it was ended. There's like so much, like that scene was when the director put like everything, like pretty much every single visual flair we saw throughout this movie was summarized in that one sequence, and the iconic dance from the music video. Yeah, what I love about how they handle I'm Still Standing is that it felt like an actual music video, and I love that. It was so like energetic, and also yeah, the way this movie tells its story of Elton John, it was really good. Yeah, and it was just so good, man. Yeah, like you actually feel bad for Elton John. You'd feel for him ever since he was a kid. He didn't have a family to love, and this story actually focuses on his life rather than his songs. Even though there were lots of songs, a lot of them didn't really focus on his career, but rather the songs were sung to support the story that this movie was trying to tell, and I love that. And like I love that. The whole movie was about Elton John finding love. He wanted to find people who love him, but then he's been constantly set up. Yeah, he thought his parents were gonna love him, but nope. He thought his managers gonna love him, but nope. And then he found and then eventually he found Bernie, who was the perfect person for him. But even he still had a bit of trouble with Bernie. But there was a spark that made them not break up at all. That made them stay together for the rest of their lives. And yeah, but of course, yeah, the way that Elton John would, the way that the movie would depict Elton John singing live too, great. Yeah, but it's also about his sexuality, the fact that he's gay. The movie actually embraces that, and I'm glad that this movie had no controversy of people saying, "Oh, gay, woke, LGBTQ kids, woke." It's so pandering. It's not trying to pander to the LGBTQ community. Like, I don't know why people still do that, but thankfully they didn't really attack Rocketman for its LGBTQ moment. So I'll give it that. And also another Oscar that this movie should have gotten nominated, or hell, even one, is makeup and hairstyling. Okay, actually Joker deserved it, so I wouldn't say that, but makeup and hairstyling, this movie should have 1,000,000% gotten nominated for. I mean, with the transformations, like, it was so hard for me to recognize these characters because the transformations of, these actors, it's so good. You know it's good when you don't actually realize that, oh, this character is played by this person. Of course, so for Elton John, you always knew it was Taron Egerton in the first place. But even him, he was so unrecognizable as Elton John. The makeup and hairstyling is so good at him. Like when they would put on his wigs, put on his makeup, and all that stuff. And also one character who I haven't actually recognized until like recently is Bryce Dallas Howard as Elton John's mother. What's her name again? Elton John's mother. Yeah, Sheila. Yeah, Sheila. Yeah. When I saw this movie in theaters, when I saw Sheila, I did not know it was Bryce Dallas Howard playing her. But after a few rewatches and research, I started to realize, oh, that's actually Bryce Dallas Howard. And also, but I remember I did see Bryce Dallas Howard in the cast, but I was like wondering, where is she in this film? Oh, she actually is Sheila, and that's awesome. And also I love how the film makes everyone, like, people around the certain characters around the Elton John assholes. They made them so unlikable in a complimentary kind of way that you'd actually feel bad for Elton John and you'd root for him to succeed in his mission. Like, Elton John's dad is an asshole. Elton said that he used to like find the love, like he used to like love Elton and hug him, but now he changed and became like a douchebag. And even John Reed, who is so unlikable, but the movie does a really good job of making these characters unlikable because John Reed is technically the main antagonist of the movie, if you think about it. And it shows that even like in the therapy scene when John would imagine everyone close to him, like around him, like talking to him, and the room is like dark and all voidish with just him and his friends in it. That scene actually proved that John Reed is actually the main villain, the main antagonist of the film, because of how much he was antagonizing John, and he still like told people, "Hey, John, you're never gonna find love. Don't love this guy. He doesn't deserve to be loved." Yeah, that is a sign of a villainous act right there. And the scenes where John goes into like the group home, like therapy kind of thing. Yeah, it's really good. You really feel bad for him because of everything he's gone through. And this movie also isn't afraid of being R-rated. I feel like that's one thing that stands out from other music biopics is the fact that it's rated R. I mean, we get to see some swearing. We get to see Elton John actually take drugs and smoke and all like R-rated shit. And there was like a scene with Elton John being nude. The movie isn't actually afraid of doing that, and yeah, good. And what else? Oh yeah, the other performances are great as well. Bryce Dallas Howard, like, she's amazing. Is this her best performance? I'll have to think about it. I don't know. Jamie Bell is great as well. Bernie's probably my second favorite character, second only to Elton John. And this is a Jamie Bell's best performance, way better than the thing in Fan for Stick. Blah. Richard Madden, I like him a lot. Bryce Dallas Howard, like I already praised her by how unrecognizable she looks, and she did a really good job of portraying a character you wouldn't even expect her to portray. And yeah, while the supporting performances are great, it's truly Elton John himself who shined the most in this film. Okay, now I'm gonna. Oh yeah. Also, before I get to that one thing I desperately want to talk about, I want to talk about one of my favorite scenes in the film that also shows this movie's visual flair. There's a scene in the beginning of the film where Elton John was in his bed like trying to play music in his head, in his imagination. So, and then it turned out to be and then it became an imaginary orchestra. Yeah, beautiful scene right there. And that's what I love about this film is that its visual flair came from the mind of Elton John. This movie uses Elton John's mind into crafting creative visual style into this film. And yeah, it's so good. And even the editing is perfect. The pacing is so fast paced. It was so engaging. There's never a boring scene throughout. It never felt like it was trying to be an Oscar bait film. It was just trying to be a crowd pleaser. Okay, let's talk about the one thing I wanna talk about. It's not gonna be pretty, but yeah, I wanna love me again. I'm gonna love me again. Okay, guys, hear me out. I'm Gonna Love Me Again is a good song. I think it's a lot of fun to listen to. It's very energetic. It's very catchy. But I don't think it's Oscar worthy. I do think the song is kind of overrated. A bit overrated. It's not an Oscar worthy song. I don't get why the Oscars were just so impacted by the song. It's just a plain as a simple catchy song. I'd even say it's the weakest Rocketman song. Yes, guys, I'm not bashing it. I'm not saying it's a bad song, but here's the main problem. How the fuck did that song when I get Into the Unknown? Into the Unknown. The song from my favorite movie of all time. And one of the absolute greatest songs ever made. Not just from movies, but in general. Not just from Disney, but like best songs in general. Like, how does I'm Gonna Love Me Again pull a better punch than Into the Unknown? Yeah, screw the Oscar for that. And also screw the Oscars for snubbing Frozen 2. Oscar 2020 honestly is one of the worst Oscars year. Well, hey, at least Idina Menzel performance. Idina Menzel performed, but for Frozen 2 to be robbed heavily like that, especially with not being nominated for Best Animated Feature and Film Twitter actually celebrating it. Boy, yeah, what a shit show that was. And also, Elton John won Best Actor in the musical or comedy in the Golden Globes. This is actually why sometimes I get the mood to I'm in a mood to say the Golden Globes is better than the Oscars. I'd say Golden Globes 2020 was far 1,000,000% superior to the Golden Globes because no, the Golden Globes is 1,000,000 times better than the Oscars in that year. Because not only did Taron Egerton get recognized, but also Frozen 2 actually got nominated for Best Animated Feature. Why did Missing Link win again though? Yeah. So overall, Rocketman is a freaking masterpiece. It's tied with Walk the Line as my favorite biopic of all time. This is what we need more biopics like this. One with actual visual flair and style. One that's actually fast paced and has a brisk pacing and great editing, and one that's just too overly perfect as the main character, as you know, the singers, especially with Elton John especially with Taron Egerton as Elton John. So with that said, I'm going to give Rocketman, of course, 5 stars out of 5. Best music biopic ever. Hopefully, a female singer biopic would be on the same level as this Walk the Line and Elvis. So that's all for my review of it. What are your thoughts on Rocketman? Would you agree it's a masterpiece, or do you find the film to be a bit overrated? And I got 2 questions for you all. 1, what's your favorite music biopic? I said mine. And 2, who agrees with me that Into the Unknown should have won over I'm Gonna Love Me Again? And also, by the way, another question. What is your favorite Elton John song? I already said mine is Rocketman. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on. Well, pretty much stay tuned for more videos to come. I did. My next video is probably going to be a satire video where like I make fun of something. I make fun of something for comedic purposes. It's gonna be a different video from what I usually do, but it's just an attempt to, yeah, something that I wanted to do for like a week now or two. So yeah, bye guys.